Maris rode the storm 10 feet above the sea, taming the winds on wide, cloth-of-metal wings. She flew fiercely, recklessly, delighting in the danger and the feel of the spray, not bothered by the cold. The sky was an ominous cobalt blue. The winds were building, and she had wings. That was enough. She could die now and die happy, flying. She flew better than she ever had before, twisting and gliding between the air currents without thought, catching each time the updraft or downwind that would carry her farther or faster. She made no wrong choices, was forced into no hasty scrambles above the leaping ocean. The tacking she did was all for joy. It would have been safer to fly high like a child, up above the waves as far as she could climb, safe from her own mistakes. But Maris skimmed the sea like a flyer, where a single dip, a brush of wing against water, meant a clumsy tumble from the sky, and death. You don't swim far when your wingspan is 20 feet. Maris was daring, but she knew the winds. Ahead, she spied the neck of a scylla, a sinuous rope dark against the horizon. Almost without thinking, she responded. Her right hand pulled down on the leather wing grip, her left pushed up. She shifted the whole weight of her body. The great silver wings, tissue-thin and almost weightless but immensely strong, shifted with her, turning. One wingtip all but grazed the white caps snapping below. The other lifted. Maris caught the rising winds more fully and began to climb. Death, sky death, had been on her mind. But she would not end like that, snapped from the air like an unwary gull, lunch for a hungry monster. Minutes later she caught up to the Scylla and paused for a taunting circle just beyond its reach. From above she could see its body, barely beneath the waves, the rows of slick black flippers beating rhythmically, the tiny head, swaying slowly from side to side atop the long neck, ignored her. Perhaps it has known flyers, she thought then, and it does not like the taste. The winds were colder now, and heavy with salt. The storm was gathering strength. She could feel a trembling in the air. Maris, exhilarated, soon left the Scylla far behind. Then she was alone again, flying effortlessly through an empty, darkening world of sea and sky, where the only sound was the wind upon her wings. In time, the island reared out of the sea, her destination. Sighing, sorry for the journey's end, Maris let herself descend. Gina and Tor, 2 of the local landbound, Maris didn't know what they did when they weren't caring for visiting flyers, were on duty out on the landing spit. She circled once above them to catch their attention. They rose from the soft sand and waved at her. The second time she came around, they were ready. Maris dipped lower and lower until her feet were just inches above the ground. Gina and Tor ran across the sand parallel to her, each beside a wing. Her toes brushed surface, and she began to slow in a shower of sand. Finally she stopped, lying prone on the cool, dry sand. She felt silly. A downed flyer is like a turtle on its back. She could get on her feet if she had to, but it was a difficult, undignified process. Still, it had been a good landing. Gina and Tor began to fold up her wings, joint by foot-long joint. As each strut unlocked and folded back on the next segment, the tissue fabric between them went limp. When all the extensors were pulled in, the wings hung in 2 loose folds of drooping metal from the central axis strapped to Maris's back. "We'd expected coal," said Gina, as she folded back the final strut. Her short dark hair stood out in spikes around her face. Maris shook her head. It should have been Cole's journey, perhaps, but she had been desperate, longing for the air. She'd taken the wings, still her wings, and gone before he was out of bed.